Raiding the Kingdom, we're back with an emergency live episode 144. What in the Telesco?
You like I love it, dude. We didn't even go over we didn't even go over that name.
What in the Telesco? So, Coach and I have been tracking everything going on with both of our teams, but the Raiders hired a general manager. It's not Champ Kelly. It's not Ed Dodds. It's Tom Telesco, former Chargers general manager. And Coach, you tried calling me right away, and I was in the middle of a little study session. But
I guess the old keep your friends close, but your enemies closer is valid in this sense. Yesterday I was talking about, hey, maybe they're just like trolling, and no, they went out and I think all but officially hired him. Where there's smoke and there's fire, especially with a lot of the Raider Q and a lot of other outlets. It seems like have all but solidified the fact that Tom Telesco is now your general manager. I'm okay with it, but I know a lot of Raider
because you're a Chiefs fan. Of course you're okay with
right.
It.
So I know a lot of Raider fans are not. We can go into some details about Telesco. We don't really know. I talked to my buddy who's a Charger fan who will, I think, be on this podcast in the future. I just couldn't today because he was going to give a little knowledge about Telesco.
If he wanted to try to make me feel better, or if he was going to laugh in my face.
I don't know if it's a counseling session. Again, we don't know Tom Telesco's really what the Spanos family allowed him to really do. I don't think he's a terrible evaluator of talent. And obviously, you got an owner. You don't know how far they put themselves into the decisions you make. So that could have some sort of effect on it too. But I think that the outside looking in, especially when the Raiders essentially got him and Staley fired, and then to him come be the GM of your team, seems it's very ironic and kind of crazy. So we'll see what happens on the long run, but just not what I was expecting hire wise.
No, and we had some questions. I think it was yesterday when we went live with the show about whether or not there was any kind of serious consideration going on with his interviews. And we said, no, there's not. Ed Dodds and Champ Kelly seem to be on the forefront here. And either one of them is going to take the, maybe the head of football operations. One is going to be the general manager. I was really pushing for Ed Dodds, nothing against Champ Kelly, but I've seen a lot of the behind the scenes videos of him with the Colts. I liked his attitude. He's very aggressive. He also wasn't a complacent guy. Making the playoffs for the Colts wasn't enough for him. And then he had a huge part in them acquiring Anthony Richardson last year, who I think was a great pick by them and a really intriguing quarterback. And I would, you and I both kind of got our player evaluations a little skewed with him. We thought he'd be a little too, like everyone else, we thought he'd be too raw for the league. So I think Ed Dodds had a lot of insight into that transaction, and it would have been beneficial for us. On the flip side of things, so Telesco spent 11 years, 10 years with the
10 years,
Chargers.
10 years, 3 different head coaches, Mike McCoy, Anthony Lynn, Brandon Staley. I think it was like 3 playoff appearances. Definitely had some solid draft picks. I know you had written some down, and I know I'll probably take a couple from you, but Austin Eckler, it's a great pick. Justin Herbert kind of fell into their lap there. Miami passed on him. I don't necessarily consider that a mind-blowing pick by him. Bosa, got him high in the draft too. So you got to look at it and say, is it the scouts? Is it him? I know you got some names too. They haven't, like any GM, no GM's perfect, not even the great Brett Veach, but
the great Brett Veach.
The great Brett Veach, yes.
If any Raiders fans want to start getting on Eric for bringing the Chiefs into this already, you go ahead.
Sorry, I have to drop.
You don't have to call them great. You just call them decent. Or if
defending world champions
if Chiefs fans that want to mock me for this acquisition, go for it. Comments are open. So you listed off a few of them. So Melvin Gordon, Denzel Perryman. So not Hall of Famers. Those two are solid guys.
Not even close to the Hall of Fame.
No, not even close. Denzel Perryman was our leading tackler last year, and then we got rid of him. But Joey Bosa, obviously a stud. Hunter Henry, pretty decent. Mike Williams, solid. Derwin James, if he could stay healthy, pretty good.
Derwin James is probably one of the better picks there, especially. He fell in the draft which was shocking that the Chargers got him, I think, at like 18 or 19. Hunter Henry's good. Hunter Henry's a second-round pick, I believe. But Williams, he was a top 10 pick. Quentin Johnson, top 25 pick. He hasn't. He had a bad first
not
year.
great. Yeah,
but you got to, that I don't think it's completely fair to judge him just on that first year, because there's with Herbert being hurt and just the
right. How much Justin Herbert did he actually get to play with?
Yeah, so I don't hate the Quentin Johnson pick yet.
No, I think everyone agreed that's probably the first receiver they would have taken off the board last year anyway. So it's not like
he picked him.
Right, Keenan Allen. Yep. So Justin Herbert, Asante Samuel Jr., Rashawn Slater. So he's right. So probably one of the best left tackles in the league right now. So Tom Telesco definitely, I would say he has more hits than misses, at least in the grand scheme of things, and he's got the resume to back it up. He started with the Bills, the Panthers, then he went to the Colts for a while. Actually, spent a long time with the Colts, and then obviously did his 10 years with the Chargers. And if you check his Wikipedia page, he's already listed as the general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders. So just not really the signing that we all expected. It was kind of just like AP is new to this. This is all new. So the theory is that they wanted to surround the new head coach with an experienced GM and not a rookie GM and a quote unquote rookie head coach making their debut together.
Yeah.
I just don't really understand the mindset where unless he sees it as, Mark Davis, that is, sees it as the Chargers made some huge mistake. They got rid of him because they had to, because they got rid of Staley. It was a package deal, kind of like how the Raiders couldn't keep Dave Ziegler, even though I think he was a decent GM, but they got rid of Josh McDaniels, so they had to do
Telesco was there for McCoy and
Anthony Lynn.
Anthony Lindsay. So I was going to say one thing, because I was thinking Corey Linsley. Those are two, and Corey Linsley and J.C. Jackson, both not great.
The J.C. Jackson was a disaster, but I think a lot of that was more of a character issue and kind of a fit on the team, which they're supposed to, kind of anticipate or plan for, if you will. So that is kind of on him that they didn't determine they didn't think he wasn't going to be a fit. So I don't know. I think there's some blame there. They got rid of him, definitely not for what they paid. I mean, he fleeced them in more ways than one, but that's just why do we want the Chargers leftovers? Maybe that's not the kindest way of saying it, but that's just kind of my thought. Like, I kind of want to try something new. Ed Dodd's never been the head, a GM, and neither has Champ Kelly. So why not give him a go? But I don't know. Just really trying to avoid expletives here. Just really surprising. Not what I expected.
But I think it's this, man. You have to be open-minded. Obviously, Antonio Pierce had a great run there at the end. You got to think that Brady, Tom Brady, as much as we want to talk junk on him, he's the greatest winner in football. He obviously had something to do with it. I don't think this was all Mark Davis. This I think was a conglomerative meeting of the minds, and they thought Telesco was the right guy. And I think his experience played more in it than anything, which I don't think is a terrible thing. No GM is perfect by any means, but it's just not. I just don't think it's what most people were expecting. But I do get the fact they want to go with a veteran, a guy who's done it before, and has some experience. It's crazy that it's the team that you guys essentially got him fired. Like, you guys kicked his ass so much that he got fired that he's now the GM of your team. So it'll be interesting, but he's not a bad talent evaluator, and he's drafted a good quarterback in Herbert. So you got to hope that that's going to be something that you potentially do in the draft yourself.
Well, that's so, like, one of my big pitches about Dodds was that he was there for the talent evaluation period of Anthony Richardson. In retrospect, obviously, Telesco, I would presume, had a lot to do with Justin Herbert, who may not be a tried and true winner right now, but the Raiders I wouldn't say have had a quarterback that good. in the last 15 years, give or take. I mean, Carr had his moments, but I'd say consistently Herbert's been a bit better.
I would say the last time he had a quarterback as good as Justin Herbert.
Did you say Rich Gannon?
An old Rich Gannon, and Rich Gannon was on his last leg. As far as pure talent goes, I don't think you've had a quarterback as talented as Justin Herbert.
Well, that's more salt in the wounds there, but you're not wrong. So I can't be upset with you about that. So what I'm hoping in my envision, or what I've envisioned, is that Tom Telesco sat down and maybe when they were asked for their plan, Ed Dodds, Jim Kelly said, we'll see who falls to us in the draft, or maybe this could work, or maybe that. Maybe Tom Telesco sat down and said, you know what, Mark, I'm going to get you Jaden Daniels by any means necessary.
And I'm just going to trade 2 first-round draft picks to get out of here.
Right. And that's it, 2 first-round picks.
My guess, if
the Hunter Renfrow kicker.
You're high. If I'm an owner, right, and I have multiple GMs that I'm interviewing, I'm asking each of them to come up with their plan to make this team better. And I'm sure they did that to an extent. That would just be my guess, right? And Telesco's was the best, and he's the most experienced, so he's got the most connections, right? Tom Telesco's got a lot of connections, and you look at it, and he's coming from the Chargers, right? They haven't hired their GM yet, but he's got ties to them, and they also have the 5th pick in the draft. I don't think this really has anything necessarily that are directly correlated, but he's got the 5th pick in the draft. I don't think there's any bad blood between him and the Chargers, and that's a potential that if someone falls, that the Raiders could come up and trade for your boy, Mr. Daniels. But, Mel Kiper has him going number 2 to Washington. So we have a lot of great draft content coming up, and I think it's as, once we're done with the season, a lot more things will become clear. It's about potentially teams even in the playoffs trading up. So who knows? Or
right.
Teams that have been in the playoffs trading up. Who knows? Excuse me. But
well, we kind of need the dominoes to fall once the Bears decide what they're going to do with that first round pick.
Yeah, that's about the most important thing there is.
Like I was talking to a buddy that's a Pats fan today, and obviously this is before the news broke, but he was saying that he would prefer they hang tight with pick number 3. But do it to just draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and run Mac Jones back for another year. And I said, could you take that advice and take it to? Do you know anyone in the front office in Foxborough? Could you just tell them that that's what you all want to do, and maybe they'll do it?
Like I proposed in one of the I think, I don't know if it was on Twitter or it was on Facebook. I would think at a minimum 24 first, 24 third. 24 fifth, 25 first, 25 third. That would be my guess to get up to anywhere between 5 and 7.
You don't think that's above 5?
I don't, because there's 3 quarterbacks, obviously, that are at the top of the draft. There's multiple teams with needs, right? Is Washington going to say, you know what, we can get all these picks, greatly improve our team. We're not going to necessarily
stick with Sam Howell
and roll with Sam Howell, right? And then get just all this draft capital that's going to be able to build our team to be even better. What's going to be the move that's going to be like, you know what, we can get 3 potentially first round picks and get our team a lot better in the future, because then we could flip those picks and move up again if we see someone we like, or are we going to be content staying? So it's a lot has to do with what the Bears do. I'm thinking they probably end up taking Caleb Williams. I think Justin Fields ends up getting flipped to maybe Atlanta or somebody like that. That's what a lot of people think. They think like Kyle Pitts, and I don't. I think it's gonna be like a second and it's gonna be like 2 seconds and a fifth or something like that for Justin Fields. I don't think they're gonna get a first for him.
I don't think so either. They're saying the Falcons would trade their 8th overall.
Pitts, I don't think so. I think Kyle Pitts is huge to their future, especially if you get a competent offensive coordinator. We're getting off track because we're talking about Telesco, but the main point is the draft capital to potentially get to number 2 and jump the Patriots. That's gonna be the kicker, and it's gonna be like, how much are you willing to give up? I could be totally wrong, but
you're my draft guy, man. That's why you're here. You know, for
I
a host of
think
reasons. But
I think it's gonna cost more than you think, more than you want to. Hunter Renfrow is essentially a 5th to 7th round pick.
Stop. He's a 3rd.
No.
Yes, he. Oh my gosh.
No, there's no.
What round did Rashad Bateman go in? Hunter Renfrow is like Rashad Bateman.
What I'm talking about is you trading Hunter Renfrow right now, you'd get a 5th to a 7th.
That's very demoralizing. But, you know, so like you said, we are getting off track. I don't want to hold you up. I know, Coach, you have an evening ahead of you. But what I'll give the same reservation and the same chance that I gave Josh McDaniels and Ziegler, who neither of us were a fan of when they came on board. You can win me over in free agency. You can win me over in the draft. That will only extend as far as, you know, the Raider Nation's excitement will allow until you hit the field. So, like, getting Devontae Adams. Oh, yes, I'm on board with that. Drafted Michael Mayer. Wasn't so sure about Tyree Wilson, Trey Tucker, you know, Jacorin Bennett. A lot of decent enough picks there. Once they hit the field, it obviously didn't pan out down the line. And, you know, last year was Dave Ziegler's first full draft. So Tom Telesco will get his first full draft right off the gate. I don't see us forfeiting our first round pick. So it's not like that where Ziegler didn't have a chance because we got Devontae Adams. So that'll be his test. So we'll wait till April. My initial judgment, however, was obviously negative. Did not think he had a chance in HE double hockey sticks to be the general manager of the Raiders. But here we are. So Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco, what a fiery couple days it's been. But
dynamic duo right there.
It is. So that's who we're going to be working with. I guess the only dominoes left to fall are who the offensive coordinator is going to be, and then we're hanging tight until draft. Not Arthur Smith. Let's go back. Or Luke Getsy. Do you see that? If the Bears don't want him as the offensive coordinator, do not send him to Las Vegas. If he couldn't fix Justin, or if he couldn't do anything with the dynamic Justin Fields.
Well, Fields got better towards the end of the year. I mean, but Arthur Smith, I think, be perfect there. He doesn't know how to use any offensive weapons properly, and that would just be good. Yeah.
Oh, just like Josh McDaniels. Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Very
FedEx,
good. Yeah.
Always alerts.
Michael Mayer and Trey Tucker, like zero targets under the McDaniels era until Antonio Pierce got on the scene, and those two were studs. So we're gonna wrap it up. Coach has an evening. You guys are asleep in the comments tonight, but we had to get this out. What in the Telesco? That's just where I'm at mentally right now, and give it a couple days to digest. Maybe you all can talk me into it, Coach. You kind of have, so I appreciate it, dude.
I'm trying to be your, we're doing live therapy right now. We're doing
that's it, live therapy.
A little better help right now, and you have to think of this as more the minds behind the Raiders. This was obviously something they thought about. They interviewed guys multiple times, and they wanted to go with a veteran guy. Someone that is obviously one of your enemies, but like I said, keep your friends close, put your enemies closer. He's not a terrible talent evaluator. He's given out some bad contracts. We all have, and you just hope that it works out to the best of your abilities, and you continue to end up second in the AFC West to the Chiefs.
You really had a strong closing argument there, and then you just had to ruin it.
Well, had to.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's great. All right, so that's the end of the evening. Thank you all for joining us. If you missed this, it'll be available on all the platforms. SeatGeek, promo code RTK, and Underdog Fantasy. Get those bets in before playoff weekend. This was your bonus episode for the week. So
and then obviously we shared a post, right? Subscribe, like, retweet, whatever it may be on Twitter and on Facebook. Win a $50 gift card to NFL Shop through Fanatics. You can, buy a towel to cry in, but a Raider towel to cry in.
Cool.
You guys don't win the AFC
or a
West
Chiefs towel to wipe my nose with, or other.
Or a Chiefs towel to wipe your nose with, or towards a jersey, or towards the future Jaden Daniels jersey. Who knows?
Ooh, I like that.
It's out there. We appreciate everybody getting to 10,000 is a huge thing, especially on Facebook. We love the interactions and the views and stuff we get. We just appreciate you, and it's just a way of saying thanks. It's easy. It's a like, subscribe to the YouTube. It's not difficult. It takes you 2 minutes, and you got a chance to win $50. What's better than that?
Pretty simple stuff. So make sure you do that. Enter the contest. We'll announce the winner on the next episode. Good night, everyone.
Good.